Cześć, witam was wszystkich bardzo serdecznie z tej strony Witam, witam was w kolejnym odcinku z gry Władcy Pierścieni, Wojna na Północy. Ten odcinek jest taki jakby dodatkowy, jakbyście się chcieli zaznajomić z fabułą. Tu nie będzie nic poza gadaniem z Gandalfem i innymi tu ludźmi, których ich jest sporo. Zaczynamy od Gandalfa.
Foreign. It is good of you to seek me out. You're a stout dwarf, like all of Durin's folk. And your courageous deed.
What's Agendaur after? There are no mighty kingdoms to be found on this side of the Misty Mountains. What's Sauron afraid of here?
Sauron seeks dominion over all of Middle-earth. His desire is to order all things as he sees fit. Even were these lands empty from here to the sea, still he would seek to control them. There is power in Rivendell that could stand against him when all others fall. For a time. And this is something Sauron cannot.
I came all the way from the Lonely Mountain to help guard the Shire. Should I abandon what I set out to do?
You fulfilled your oath and protected the Shire when you were needed there, my good dwarf. Now you're needed more urgently elsewhere. With the flight of the ring in this direction, the enemy is looking this way and has forgotten the Shire for now. For now. But eventually his hobbits as miserable slaves would please him far more than hobbits happy and free. And there is such a thing as malice and revenge. Sauron will leave the final devastation of the Shire to his servant Agendaur. And that is yet another reason why you must find him and put an end to his designs. In opposing Agendaur, you are.
We had one of the great eagles lend us a hand, Claw, at Fornost. Right handy he was too. I was thinking he might help us get rid of the ring.
I don't fault you for thinking along those lines. Why not beg a ride from an eagle, fly far out to the west, and drop the ring into the deepest part of the sea? Such ideas were debated at Elrond's council. But there are many things in the deep waters, and seas and lands may change. We cannot think of our time alone. We must destroy this thing forever.
This orc lover, Agendaur. Do you know anything about him?
Well, I know nothing of Agendaur himself. I have seen his kind at other times in distant lands. He is likely a black Numenorian, and a master of dark sorceries.
Well, that doesn't sound good. Just what we need, a sorcerer with a 5,000-year-old grudge against all free folk.
Who can say what promises Sauron has made to him? Perhaps even a ring of his own. At the very least, Agendaur expects to rule all of the north. He would be a cruel tyrant. The elves he will seek to utterly destroy. Hobbits, men, dwarves, any that survive, will be enslaved. And he will raise an iron kingdom in the north, in mockery of the ancient... This is his dark dream. It must never come to pass.
When we first spoke, you said you recently passed through the Ettenmoors. Can you tell me anything more of them?
It is a rough and empty land, home to many trolls. I passed through with great haste, for I needed to reach Rivendell as quickly as I...
You said there was no sign of trolls.
I saw neither trolls nor fresh signs of them, and that disturbs me more than encountering one. I doubt they've all packed up and left. Mindless brute creatures they may be. Yet they can be used and driven to even greater wickedness by a strong enough hand. Agendaur could well be forming them.
Do you think he's mustering the trolls for an attack?
That is my fear. I would gladly be proven wrong, but my heart misgives me that somewhere in the Ettenmoors, you will find them gathering and being prepared for war. We must know. Such a force could be sent against Rivendell. Perhaps in hopes of capturing the ring.
Zaraz wracam. Już jesteśmy.
I'll get my friends and we'll head for the moors. If there's something to find, we'll find it.
Jak ja tego nie lubię mówić. Idę nagrywać. Tu nie, bo po co wbijałem do pokoju?
Greetings to you, Foreign. Many times in the past have I welcomed your kin to my home. The bond between our kindred has at times been shaken, yet it has never been broken. Always before, I have placed my trust in Durin's folk, and never have they betrayed it. You will always be welcome here in Imladris, my friend. Yet I am certain you did not come here merely to exchange pleasantries. That is not the dwarven way.
Udało mi się znaleźć ten
I
swój.
found this scroll at Fornost. I think maybe you should take a look at it.
A wise decision. This is writ in the black speech of Mordor, a language I will not utter here. It is intended to instruct the reader in the use of dark sorceries.
Well, maybe we should turn the tables on the enemy by making use of this scroll ourselves.
Have a care, warrior of Erebor. You tread on dangerous ground when you harbor such thoughts. This, like all works of the enemy, is altogether evil. Any who make use of this, even from a desire to do good, will only be corrupted by it. Surely the ring has taught us that much.
What is the Black Speech?
A language devised by Sauron when he desired a single tongue to be spoken by all who serve him. He had small luck introducing it to the scattered tribes of orcs and trolls, but it is still used by his highest-ranking servants.
Good thing we captured this then. What will you do with it?
I will destroy this scroll at the very least. But wait, here I discover more. Listen to what is written herein. Scribed by the hand of Agandaur, disciple of the great lord Sauron, for the empowerment of his servant Wulfrun and those others of his faithful who prove worthy. I will speak no more of these blasphemies, but it does say that this scroll is one of 7 such works.
Well, maybe we should turn the tables on the enemy by making use of this scroll ourselves.
Have a care, warrior of Erebor. This, like
Some-
all works of the enemy, is...
Aye, you're right. I'd rather trust in a good strong axe than black magic anyway. So what should we do with this?
I will destroy this scroll at the very least. Listen to what it... I will speak no more of these blasphemies. But it does
Aha,
say
dobra.
that this scroll...
Seems like Agandaur could have written a whole lot more than just 7.
Perhaps. But creating something of this nature is not a matter of simple scribing. Considerable preparation and effort is involved. We have reason to hope there are no more than 7.
So there are 6 more of these accursed things. Maybe we can find them all.
That would be a great service to our cause. Should you recover them all, bring them to me, and I will ensure they are destroyed.
Why bring them back? I can burn up any I find the moment I get my hands on them.
You will find that works of this sort are not so easily destroyed. There are strong wards placed upon them that protect them from mundane harm. But I have the necessary skill to remove these wards. Should you gather the remaining scrolls, bring them to me, and I will see them
You can count on that.
In the meantime, please accept this in appreciation for bringing this matter to my attention. Perhaps it will be of service to you.
Dziękuję bardzo, dziękuję.
One more thing. I found this book hidden away in the ruins of Fornost. It looks to be quite old.
Ah, now this is writing of an altogether more wholesome sort. This was not made by any minion of Sauron, but rather by the men of Arthedain, likely before the fall of Fornost.
Tell me about this realm of Arthedain.
Arthedain was the last fragment of the great northern kingdom of Arnor. The heirs of Isildur ruled as kings of Arthedain, until it too was destroyed by the enemy.
But according to the rangers at the Sarn Ford, the line of their kings did not end.
It is true Isildur's line has remained unbroken, but without a kingdom to rule, they have not claimed the title of king, and have been known simply as chieftains of the Dunedain. It is our friend Aragorn who currently bears that title, although he will be the last to do so. Either he will become a king.
So you think this book is a record from those days? You could be right, for we found it in a chamber that had been long sealed. Can you make out any of the writing?
Indeed. It seems to be a personal journal. And here is a name inscribed. M-A-L. Why, this appears to be a work of Malbeth, the seer of Arthedain.
Malbeth? Never heard of him.
Many of the Dunedain race are gifted with foresight, but none more than Malbeth. He predicted the final destruction. I will examine this work carefully. Who knows what other visions are here recorded. It may be that we will find... You did well in bringing this to me. Take this.
Happy to have been of service. Thanks and goodbye.
Go. Dwie paczusie. A, tu są te eliksiry. Zdrowie razy 2. Moc umiejętności to nie dla mnie. Nie, no czy to dla łucznika bardziej? Czy dla mnie też? To ja wolę chyba ten. Tak, dwukrotne zdrowie. Dostać. On jest tutti. Jeszcze tworzymy sobie to. A, pierścionki. Zręczność, zdrowie, odbicie obrażeń, siła, wola, pancerz. Zręczność dla łuk, trochę zdrowia i trochę odbicia, czyli trochę damage'u, trochę many i trochę pancerza. Ciężki wybór, ciężki wybór. Może woli mamy sporo. Czy... Chyba wolę ten drugi, ten sobie wezmę. I jeszcze co żeśmy dostali? A, potionek, dobra. No, mamy już 12 minut na liczniku, a dopiero z 3 osobami.
Farin, I am glad you are here. I feel I must apologize to you. When I was told a dwarf had appeared on the borders of the Shire asking I instructed Halbarad to keep a careful eye upon you, fearing you were a spy. Clearly he grew to trust you. And after all you have done, I have as well. I'm sorry to have doubted you, my friend.
I'd like to know more about those.
Who is it that interests you?
Gandalf.
What about Gandalf? What can you tell me?
To know all there is to know of Gandalf would require a lifetime study. There is much about him that remains a mystery, even to me. Yet he is a relentless foe of Sauron, and without his vigilance, the ring would already be in the hands of the enemy. His wisdom and leadership will be of great value.
So, you go now to claim the throne of Gondor.
Above all, I go to help Frodo fulfill his quest. For unless the ring is destroyed, Gondor will soon fall, king or no king.
Good luck to you.
To jest chyba ten, że on nam mówi wszystko o tych... No.
Apology accepted. Seems we dwarves are often mistrusted. It hardly seems fair.
Perhaps, but we should also remember there are others in the world who are willing to serve. I am glad.
So, you go.
Dobra, nie będziemy z nim gadać, nie będziemy, bo on nam tutaj widać, że opowiada o wszystkich tych. 7 zwoi. Dobra, mamy 1 z 7 już żeśmy oddali. Z Gundulfem żeśmy go duli. Z nim żeśmy chyba gadali, tak? Naprawy. Mamy tu coś do naprawienia? Nie, nie mamy. Dalej. Tu mamy Ligolusa chyba. Tak. Ligolasa.
You don't look like any elf of Rivendell. I'd wager you are one of...
You are correct. I am Legolas, son of Thranduil, king of the Woodland Realm. And I believe you are a dwarf of the Lonely Mountain.
I've been through Mirkwood. It baffles me that you wood elves chose to...
Mirkwood is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth. It was called Greenwood the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty. But now, it is filled with darkness and dread. Save only in the north where my father's...
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
What can you tell me about this Gollum?
A pathetic creature who long held the Ring of Power. The evil of the ring has left him twisted and tormented. His only thought is to recover what was taken from him.
How did Gollum manage to escape? I understood you wood elves were pretty good at holding prisoners. But this one got away?
Not from a lack of watchfulness, but perhaps from too much kindness. We occasionally allowed Gollum to go about the wood under close guard. But on one of these ventures, the guards were attacked by orcs from Dol Guldur. In the confusion, Gollum escaped. We followed his tracks southward for many leagues, until it drew near to Dol Guldur. There, it became too dangerous to pursue him any further.
Dol Guldur, a name of dread to my folk. What do you know of it?
A stronghold of the enemy in the south of Mirkwood. It was once the dwelling of the Dark Lord, until he was driven out in the year of the Dragon's Fall. But it has once again become a place of great evil. All the darkness that besets Mirkwood has its source in Dol Guldur.
So, will you be on your way back to Mirkwood soon?
No. I have been chosen to represent elven kind among the Company of the Ring. I will be accompanying the halfling, Frodo Baggins, on his journey south.
It seems a little strange that, with a house full of his own people to consider, Elrond chose you, a wood elf, to represent the elven folk in the Fellowship.
I asked for the privilege, and Elrond did not refuse me. I feel he may have been relieved not to lose any of his household to this quest. He will have need of all his strength, should the...
Why'd you volunteer?
Partially to make amends for the loss of Gollum, but more so because this will be the final chapter in our long struggle against the darkness. And I wish to have a hand in our final victory. Or at least, to stand in the forefront of our last act of...
Good luck to you, Legolas.
No, powodzenia. Przynajmniej dowiadujemy się jakichś ciekawostek. Tam później pójdziemy.
Magovanen, well met and welcome to the safe haven of Imladris.
My thanks. I'm much honored to meet you, Lady Arwen.
Durin's folk are welcome here. You have endured great danger and given us urgent warning of a new threat to the north. For this, we honor you, Farin.
Well, it was nothing, lady. It's nice of you fair folk to welcome the north.
You show the modesty worthy of a hero. Estelle and my brothers have spoken highly of your courage at Fornost, and I thank you for your part in seeing to my brother's safe return. Please, take your ease and rest a while in our halls. You will find all your heart could desire, whether it be food, drink, supper.
Estelle? Who might this person be?
Your pardon, good dwarf. It is my way to call Aragorn by the name he was given as he grew up in Imladris. Estelle means hope.
He has a long list of names, to be sure. How'd he come by that one?
It is common practice to foster the children of chieftains of the Dunedain in Imladris. Aragorn was but 2 years of age when his mother, Gilrain, brought him here after his father was slain by an orc, Isildur. Elrond became like a father to him. Knowing the enemy sought ever for a living, Aragorn was 20 before Elrond revealed these things to him and gave him tokens of his heritage. But he remains Estelle to me, for he is my heart's hope, even as he is the hope of the...
If you pardon my saying so, you speak his name with an uncommon fun.
Long ago I pledged myself to him beneath the golden boughs of Lothlorien, saying to him, "Dark is the shadow, and yet my heart rejoices, for you, Estelle. Yet there is much pain in this choice, for I am Elrond's daughter and half-elven. To cleave to Estelle I must forsake my immortal life and become mortal, accepting that even should Imladris endure this war, Elrond will leave Middle-earth, and we will be parted beyond the end of the world. It is the price I must pay to bring love and hope to Estelle.
Jeśli nie będziemy jej pytać, to bo 20 minut na liczniku już.
Namarie, farewell.
Tam jeszcze trochę typów siedzi. To jest chyba ten dziadziuś. Tak. Jak to on miał? Nie pamiętam. Bilbo Baggins.
Hello! Always happy to meet a dwarf, and one from the Lonely Mountain, if I'm not mistaken.
I am Farin of Erebor, And we've met before, Bilbo Baggins.
Have we now? Oh, I'm afraid I don't recall. You'll have to forgive me.
We met upon your last visit to Erebor. I guess that was near 20 years ago now. And before that, I had the honor of sharing the field with you at the Battle of Five Armies. That was my first real taste of battle. I was hardly more than a lad at the time, but it was a glorious day.
Oh, yes, the Battle of the Five Armies. A nasty business, that. Personally, I'm glad those days are behind us. But then again, it seems, speaking of which, I'm told that you and your friends did a great deal to help my Frodo and the Dunedain reach Rivendell safely. You'll have to tell me all about it one of these days so I can write it down properly.
This Frodo, he is your heir, but I had not heard that you had a son.
Oh no, he's not my son. Actually, he's my first cousin once removed. And also my second cousin once removed. Well, it's complicated, but we share a great-grandfather. The poor lad was orphaned at an early age, and so I adopted him. Made him my heir, all nice and legal, while simultaneously dashing the greedy hopes of my odious relations, the Sackville Baggins. He's a good lad, Frodo. I only wish he hadn't inherited my troubles along with my estate. I hope that Gandalf and the Dunedain will keep him safe.
The Dunedain?
Why, Aragorn, of course. From the Elvish, Dun-Adan, man of the West. Númenorian. Around here, Aragorn is often a remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough.
Can you tell me how Frodo came to...
Well, yes, that was through me, I'm afraid. I found the ring by happenstance while lost beneath the roots of the Misty Mountains. I won it. That is to say, I took it from the creature Gollum. Of course, I did not know the full story of the ring until only a few days ago. I thought it was merely a magical bauble with the power to make the wearer invisible. I only used it to avoid unwelcome visitors. Imagine that old ring of mine causing such a fuss. I would gladly take charge of it again if that would help. Oh, yes. Gladly. Yes. You know, I think it...
Now you call Rivendell your home.
Well, the Shire will always be my home, I suppose. But this is the perfect place for so many things that I'm more than content to remain here. My days are mostly...
What is it you write?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. History, my past adventures, family trees. I've even begun a book of translations from the Elvish. Although lately I've been working on poetry mostly. Say, maybe you could help me with that. I'm writing a poem for Aragorn and I'm a bit stuck on a line or two.
Are you now? Well then, let me hear what you have.
Very well, very well. The verse that's giving me trouble runs like this. The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled.
Ponownie rosną nadzieje utracone.
The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled. The scion of Westernest kings.
Why, yes, yes, that's just the thing, isn't it? Oh, my friend, you should consider exchanging those weapons of yours for the poet's pen.
The enemy won't be stopped by poetry, I'm afraid.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right, but since these old hands are not much use with a sword, I'll just keep on with the pen. Though I'll need some help. Perhaps you could show this to the Lady Arwen. She has her people's gift with words and this...
I'll take it to her.
Ah, thanks very much. Be sure to give her my compliments, won't you?
I'll be sure to do that. Farewell, Bilbo.
Dostaliśmy nowe zadanie, poeta. Nowe zadanie, poeta. Co mamy zrobić z poetą? Poeta, poeta, poeta. Gdzie tu jest poeta? Poeta. Więcej informacji. Arweno. A gdzie tu jest Arwena? To jest Arweno? Nie. To jest Arwena? Nie, ale ona jest sprzedawczynią. Nie chcę z nią rozmawiać. Jak śmiać, jak śmiać, jak śmiać. Ciekawy. Broń obuchową jednoręczna. Wytrzymałość, zdrowie. Ciekawe. Dosyć ciekawe broniszcze. Ale chyba podziękuję. Turcza, turcza. Turcza. Stara turcza. Czekajcie. To słabsze. To. I stara turcza. Nie wszystko? Prawie wszystko. Parę kamyczków. Dobre. Teraz tylko porządek. Nowa turcza. Powiem wam tak, mamy coraz mniejsze tarcze. Zabawne. Loin.
Aaron, my lad, by my beard, it's good to see you again. When you left Erebor to stand guard on the Shire, Gimli and I feared we might be seeing the last of you. Now I hear you stood with the Rangers in the battle against the Nazgul at Sarn Ford, and bested an orc chieftain.
I can't take all the credit. I had Andriel, an elf of Rivendell, and the ranger Eradan at my back.
Reminds me of the old days when dwarves, elves, and men fought together in the Battle of the Five Armies.
Let's not leave out the Eagles. They've been a big help to us.
Well spoken. Thorin's quest and the Battle of Five Armies would have met disaster. You're fortunate to have gained the friendship of such noble creatures. Your life may well depend upon your choice of friends, whatever kindred they be.
Then I've your blessing being allied with an elf.
I will speak plainly. I may be less than fond of King Thranduil's wood elves for keeping me in their dungeons.
So I've heard you say many times, but the elves fought beside us when it mattered most.
You're right, of course. I can be a stiff-necked old dwarf, but it's time to set aside grievances that were long. But we face a far more terrible enemy in the Dark Lord. Standing together against Agandaur may be more than just a good idea. It may be our only hope to...
And besides, it wouldn't hurt to keep Sauron a little distracted. If we keep him second-guessing his plan.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly. And it's time to be about your business.
Mam nadzieję, że tutaj ze wszystkimi pogadamy w tym odcinku. Co tu mamy? Frodo.
Hello, you are foreign, aren't you? I was hoping I would get a chance to speak with you.
Hi, and you must be Frodo Baggins. Aragorn and Gandalf have told me all about you.
Likewise, they have told me all about you. I wanted to thank you and your friends for all you did to keep us safe on our journey to Rivendell.
I think most of your thanks should go to the Rangers who fell at Sarn Ford.
You are right, of course. For my part, I will never forget what they have done for us. Even though none of those they protected were even aware of their watch. I should like to think the people of the Shire will be safe now. There have been times in the past when I felt that an earthquake or an invasion of dragons might be good for them. But I don't feel like that anymore. Knowing the Shire...
I came west to help protect the Shire, and I'm not about to quit now. Those of us who are staying behind will do everything we...
That is a comfort to me. I only hope that I can live up to your example.
Take heart, Frodo. You'll have some stout folk along with you. Aragorn and Gandalf won't lead you astray.
Yes, I can't think of a better pair to have with me in a pinch than Gandalf and Strider. Without them, I would feel as if I was wandering alone in the dark.
You've got hidden strength in you. Like all your kind, it seems. I think you will...
Jej. Jestem jego ziomkiem. Jej. To Gimli. Gimluch!
Gimli, son of Glowin! This is a happy meeting. But what brings you to Rivendell? What has passed for good or ill?
Gimluch!
Aye, and it's good to see you again, kinsman. I've heard of your exploits at Sarnford and Fornost. They sing your praises here. After you left to aid in the protection of the Shire, the foul messenger from Mordor returned yet again with more threats.
Ładnie wygląda.
King thought it best to seek advice from Elrond. He chose Glowin to speak for him. When my father set out, I refused to be left behind, as happened with Thorin's quest. You were there at the Battle of the Five Armies, while I was left to cool my heels at the hearthside. Well, not this time. I go with the hobbit Frodo and his chosen 9, even if one of them must be a wood elf.
The Battle of Five Armies was long and terrible, and many valiant lives were lost. Glory's of little use to the dead.
You say it as one who has won a share of glory and lived to tell of it, and doubtless will do so again. Don't begrudge me this chance to show the worth of a dwarf against hopeless odds. But in truth, it's not for glory I take this road. It's for the sake of all who lie under the shadow of the enemy. It's Frodo who bears the true burden.
We killed an orc chieftain and drove Agendaur from his stronghold. What worries you about the north?
Before we left, we heard that Mordor was stirring up the Easterlings. But should they be foolish enough to move against King Brand of Dale, they'll find King Dane of Erebor standing. But every step of the way here, we heard rumor of new gatherings of orcs and goblins and worse things. And though the fearful count every enemy twice, there may be some truth to it. You found such enemies at... When Sauron strikes, there will be more than one land that feels his wrath. I fear for the Shire and Rivendell, but my heart would...
You don't ask much, but my friends and I will do what we can. If you can bear the honor of the dwarves on your quest, I can do no less here. You have my word on it.
Tak jest, Gimluchu. Pół godziny gadamy już. A już chyba dochodzimy do końca. Doszliśmy do końca chyba. No, doszliśmy do końca. Już tylko jedna pogadanka i koniec. Chyba. Chyba. Jest ostatnia pogadanka. Trololololololo.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Elmatris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there. Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel. And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
What was it that brought you to Fornost?
We often ride far afield hunting the orcs, wherever we may find them. We came upon signs of a large band of goblins making their way from the orc hall, where we lost no time in attacking them.
Farewell, and luck be with you.
Nie chcę mi się z nimi gadać, powiem wam. Mam was gdzieś. Nie chcę mi się z wami gadać. Odsuń! Dubs go. Stanę sobie przy fontannie. O. W blasku słońca. Dobra. Więc dzięki za obejrzenie tego nudnego odcinka. Jak kto to obejrzał, to... Ten, kto to obejrzał do końca całe, niech pisze w komentarzach, że to obejrzał. A więc dzięki za obejrzenie tego długiego, nudnego odcinka. Bye bye.